How y'all doing? Mr. MKL here. We are chilling today. We are hanging out. Today's a special Niche Fighter Monday. Oh, I mean, come on, let's be honest. Every Niche Fighter Monday is a special Niche Fighter Monday. But today's especially nice because we are going to be joined by the developer of that music you might have just been hearing in the background there. The developer of Dojo Masters, Bybyblue, will be joining us today. Developer of, amongst other things, of course. They're hard at work on a few games. If you look at their website for Pixel Vision, the company that Bybyblue is a part of, head of, we're gonna find out. They have a whole ton of games that they have in the planning and in the working stages. So I want to talk to, I think it's important to talk to our indie developers, see what's going on with them, see what they think about the state of the industry and the community, and find out about their games, learn about them, maybe get some insight as to how they were made and why they were made. So this is going to be one in the, many developer interviews that I have done and will continue to do. So y'all can actually go check out the YouTube, and I have interviews with developer Matrified from Matrified Games, the developer of Murphite, as well as the artist Alan McMillan, the artist for Mega Knockdown. Whole bunch of stuff. Burtman, Hayama there, hey, how's it going? I did an interview with them talking about their experience being a beta tester for Monster, the the indie fighting game that is much loved in the FGC. So yeah, and just talked to Arcus Chroma. That's right, Guardian. Thank you. The GX Grainsun, the developer of Arcus Chroma. And it's always amazing getting to see that insight, especially when someone is just like on the cusp of launching a game, right? So Dojo Masters is something that's currently in development, and we should be seeing something from it soon. So I got a lot of questions about it. I'm going to be bringing in Bybyblue in just a second to talk about their game, find out what their experience has been, and learn about what's going to happen in the future. So if y'all have any questions, make sure to get them queued up, man. We will feel free to drop them in the chat as we go on about our conversation. I will try to work them in, and we're going to find out what's going on with Pixel Vision and Dojo Masters. But right now, let's kick off Niche Fighter Monday in the correct fashion, just to, like we usually do. Niche Fighter Monday. Yes, welcome to Niche Fighter Monday. Like I said, I'm going to be bringing in Bybyblue just now, right now. In fact, I'm going to give them a call, and yeah, we're gonna have a nice little Niche Fighter Monday where we start discussing the world of indie fighting games.
Hello.
Hey there, Bybyblue. How's it going?
Things are going pretty well. I actually just woke up recently. So,
all right then.
My voice sounds a bit dry.
No worries. I appreciate you being able to make it out and chat a little bit about Dojo Masters.
Yes. I'm quite excited to talk about it.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt it. I guess here let's start this off. Maybe give us a little bit of the origin story of Bybyblue and Pixel Vision. I want to hear a little bit from you about how you got started on your road to Dojo Masters and where we are today.
Oh boy, that's quite a loaded question. So, I guess not to stretch out too long, but my game development journey started at the age of 7, actually.
Okay.
I knew very early on that I wanted to be in this field. Surprisingly, the game that sparked my interest in game development was Luigi's Mansion. Very, very strange game to start with. It was one of those moments where I played it. I remember being like, man, that was fun. I could make it better. Obviously, me being a young person was like unaware of what actually went into game development,
Oh yeah, so, the folly of youth, right?
Yeah, you just think, oh yeah, I can do that easily. So a little after that, I would get a computer and I would just start making games. I no tutorials, no nothing, just looked it up online. So make video games. Cool, I'm gonna do that. And I just threw things at the wall until they stuck. And I did that for a really, really, really long time.
Wow. So yeah, really just absolutely kind of from the ground up, self-taught.
Yep.
And I mean, that's phenomenal. What did you? I'm curious. What did you start with when you started programming? Like, what were you making games in?
Well, again, me being a kid of make game was Game Maker, like the old Game Maker.
Okay.
And then shortly after that, I actually went to a software you're probably really familiar with, Fighter Maker 2002.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I spent a lot of time with.
Really? So okay, I've got to dig into this a bit. I am obsessed with 2D Fighter Maker. So, um, yeah, what were you building in that?
Let's a lot. So it was pretty much anywhere my obsession was. So at the time I was getting into anime. So I'm not mistaken. My very first project in it was probably a Naruto, game, right?
Oh, of
Then
course.
a Bleach game. And it was like, what you call Smash Bros is cool. Let me do that, but with anime. And then after that, I said, well, let me try a Smash Bros game. I did all this random stuff. I tried to figure out how to make platformers in Fighter Maker, how to make menus. I did a lot of wacky things that you probably shouldn't be able to.
I mean, yeah, that engine is something that it's like it doesn't want you to make games in a certain way. You can force it, right? But
Yeah,
you got to be clever about it. So,
honestly, that probably sparked a lot of my interest in trying to build with limitation. Um, one of my design philosophies kind of build like put restrictions on yourself, right? Like when you're making a project, when you don't have restrictions, it makes it very hard to know where to start and what to do. But when you have limitations, your questions kind of change a bit, and you're like, man, I really want to do this, but the limitations say I can't. So how the heck am I supposed to do? And I much prefer tackling game design in that regard.
I mean, that's really interesting. I think there's something when I look at the games that you've been making, and we're going to get into some specifics, but just generally, I tend to see this really like well scoped game. It is very like I don't know, consider it in like what you're doing, and you're like, no, I don't. You don't need all the bells and whistles. It's about this thing, and I'm going to build within it and iterate on that. That kind of, innovation through limitation.
Yes.
So like that is obviously like a core part of your design philosophy. Where did that come from? Where was that kind of other than the engines that you
Right.
happen to be working in, and your kind of throw it at the wall approach to learning? What were the kind of
Mm,
games that inspired this?
was there any game that inspired this idea? So I wouldn't say any game particularly inspired the idea. I will definitely say after I had the idea, I started using older games as examples. Like I
Okay.
would, a fun example I like to bring all the time when I'm telling people about game design and whatnot is that because one thing that tends to happen with a lot of indie devs that I talk to is that they get very, very discouraged in perfection. Like I'm a perfectionist, right? But there's like it has to be a limitation on how perfect you want to be, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't think, oh, I can't put this out there because this animation doesn't look too well or that doesn't look too well. And I always bring up, at least if I'm talking about fighting, and I say, what about Street Fighter 2? Like when people were working on that, the animation that they're serviceable, right? But
Hmm.
I'm sure the developers on the game were probably like, man, this animation's not that good. But at the end of the day, for them, they wanted to get the game out.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's definitely something I like to reference a lot. But if I were to say what sparked it the most is probably my in the middle of my development journey is probably the fascination and fixation I've had on recreating game systems, right? So I would take a game that I like and say, huh, I wonder how they did that. I try to remake it in an engine that is not fit for it. So a lot of
Hmm.
that would be taking 3D systems and reworking them in 2D. How can we bring that over? How would we make this 3D system work in a 2D space? And that's just an easy example, but there was way more that I would experiment.
Yeah, and honestly, that kind of shines through in Dojo Masters itself. I was actually just thinking about this that the idea of knockdowns in fighting game being so important that right you get this like looped pressure throughout a single round, but the way that Dojo Masters works is that the knockdowns will actually like that is your win condition as opposed to a condition on your way to a win, right?
Okay.
And it's kind of like an interesting approach to like looking at the way things are handled traditionally in fighting games and taking a slightly different view on it, and that changes the dynamic of the fighting game and can make it quite interesting, right?
So it's interesting you bring up the knockdowns in Dojo Masters. Surprisingly, that aspect isn't completely uh inspired, if I were to say that, of the my philosophy there. That one more so comes down to how do I word this? I'm very often the entertainer when it comes to events and gatherings. So I have a history of making very quick, small games just to show off and give people something to do, right?
Okay.
And because of that, I've gotten really good at making party games. So that aspect, as well as a bunch of other elements in Dojo Masters, are my way of making this easy to pick up and play at a party. Like if you were to put it on, anyone can play it. It doesn't, to some extent, it doesn't matter how good you are at the game. Anyone can play it, right? That's
Hmm.
why I always say that Dojo Masters is a extremely low skill floor, but the ceiling is ridiculously high,
Yeah.
right? And I really enjoy that. And I really like messing with game mechanics and design that make things more quickly enjoyable.
Okay. So would you say that's like basically like your elevator pitch for for Dojo Masters, right?
I suppose. I don't know if I've given that much thought when it comes to Dojo Master about elevator pitches and whatnot, but
All
I
right.
suppose you could say that.
All right. Well, it's like so. What would you say the core of Dojo Masters is then? This is it's a fighting game. Like for me, it's like I immediately noticed it not only for visual style, but in kind of the way it works in terms of its fighting game mechanics, being something a little bit different from what a lot of games do. So like, yeah, what is it about Dojo Masters? Like, how do you sell it to folks?
How do I sell it? That's a very good question. I see you're that's a question because I just kind of do. I don't really think about how I'm doing it. Let me see. Give me a moment.
All right.
Hmm. How do I sell people on the game? I guess the first angle I would take is either if they're into retro games, I bring that part up, but I'd probably first tackle martial arts, right? Because that's a really cool aspect of Dojo Masters that, with the exception of Tekken, and I'm sure there's other examples, right? But that's the first one that comes to mind. There aren't many fighting games that are really, really strictly focused on the martial. Oh, I guess Virtua Fighter, right?
Virtua
That's
Fighter as
one.
well.
Yeah, yeah,
You
that
see,
are like
3D
focused on the
fighters
martial
have
arts.
a tendency to lean
Mhm.
into that a lot more, I find.
Yes. Probably because of the more elaborate like footwork and hand motions that come with martial arts, right? But I think there's value in it in a 2D space. And I would probably say with that, it's funny you say that because when I look at the martial art games in 3D space, it's very rare that the characters' personalities are anything outside of one note, right?
Hmm.
Tekken is only just starting to kind of do that. But when it comes to 2D games, personality is everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So I would probably say that's probably how they make up for not being able to fully represent the martial art. That's just my hunch, right?
Yeah.
Because one of the reasons why I can represent the martial arts so well in Dojo Master is because the character move lists are so limited, right? One of the very first things I ran into on making the characters was Muay Thai. While yes, the martial art can do other actions, what comes to mind when you think of Muay Thai,
Hmm.
right? Clinch grab, the knee strike, the jabs, like those are the basic fundamentals of the martial art. And because I'm boiling all the characters down so much, it makes them easily recognizable and it makes it so anyone can relate to them if they're really interested in that martial art. You'd be surprised how many comments and DMs I've got. People just saying, "I love how you captured the essence of this character. I practice it. It's really cool."
That's amazing. Like, yeah, the ability, your ability to distill these martial arts into
Give me a
mechanics
second to mood up, okay?
is just phenomenal. It is absolutely so impressive, right? And so yeah, so that's kind of your approach, right? Is you take one or two core fundamental recognizable aspects of it, and then you build a limited move set around that. I would, yeah, like that kind of translation strikes me as really difficult, right? What were some challenges that you faced trying to do that?
See, like so there's the Muay Thai. What other challenge I run into? Oh, so the biggest challenge, and it's so unfortunate, is that when you start boiling down martial arts, right? A good amount of them are very, very similar to another martial art to the point where it's not worth adding that other martial art.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not gonna speak any names yet because I don't want to prematurely shoot anyone's hopes down for a martial art that's going to get at it in the future. But there are some that are just like, if I add this, it's literally just this martial art. Why would I? There's no reason to do it. But when I make games, with very few exceptions, I really cannot stand when two characters are exactly the same for the most part. It drives me crazy. Like, again, there are exceptions, right? I guess the best example I could do, which there are some differences here, are the original Marth and Roy in Melee. Like, they are different enough where their personalities are different, and they have that small gimmicky thing that makes it enjoyable. But if the characters are exactly the same, it drives me crazy.
Man, that's fascinating. So obviously there are some challenges in terms of that distillation there, making it, a unique thing. Because I think it's something that's a bit of a risk, I would say, even for me, who's like, I'm not someone who's super into martial arts. But yeah, right. Like, I get enough of it that I see Muay Thai and I'm like, yes, I understand that's Muay Thai. I see boxer, obviously, I understand that's boxer. But yeah, right. Like, so you've done a really good job already of making it, for even the uninitiated, making it really recognizable. But I guess there are still limits to that distillation, right? I guess that's the other side of the innovation through limitation, is sometimes you just hit the limitation.
I'll be surprised if I run into a martial art that has too many actions that they do. That'd be very hard to adapt. So far, now.
All right. So I guess I wanted to talk a little bit about the pace of play in Dojo Masters. I would say most fighting games are very, very combo centric. They really rely on that as some of the core differentiator between them. And Dojo Masters obviously has combos, but they're fairly limited. And like I said, it's much more about very quick exchanges that reset to neutral, as opposed to being like round long series of exchanges. And I wonder about how that impacts the way players actually play the game. From my personal experience, it is a game that has a very, very high mental stack, like a very large mental stack requirement. You need to do a lot of things, but it is still somehow a very approachable game. Like, how do you balance that for players who might not want the super intense mental stack, but want the casual interactions?
So, I surprisingly, when you first played it, you were the first person to bring that aspect up, right? But there are things designed in the game with I'm going to use the term casual here. With casuals in mind, to make it a little bit easier to get into. What how do I word this? So, for instance, right, the whole teching thing, that's part of the mental stack. Like, once you know teching is a function, is something that you can do to save yourself, that's when it gets a little bit harder, because you're adding more to it. But a beginner player is not going to do that, and if the player doesn't tech, it makes it so that way how much they have to focus on is lessened, because the reset happens, right? Secondly, one character I'm gonna just use for example here, Shotokan Karate. That character is designed for beginners, even though Muay Thai is kind of like beginners like to gravitate towards it, in the sense that the way a beginner typically plays, right? At least from my experience, and when I've gotten people hands on the game that don't play fighting games, et cetera, they typically mash buttons. They roll their face on the controller, right?
Yeah.
And then at some point, after rolling your face on the controller, they decide, I want to hold forward. So what they're going to get? They're going to get oppressive forward moving attack. Eventually, that player is going to figure out, how do I block? Oh, you walk backwards. They're going to start blocking, and then they're going to get too defensive. So that's why Shotokan Karate's backwards attacks are attacks that get you out of defensive situation, right?
Okay.
And then out of all of that, I also account for the player that's just going to press every which direction. So sometimes they get a grab and they're like, oh, I got this super cool grab. So not only am I out of the corner, but it looked cool, and I probably got the knockdown because it was unexpected. So I am very I would like to think that I'm pretty good at figuring out how people will play my game. I hope I'm not saying that prematurely and then the game comes out and everyone just does some crazy ridiculous thing I didn't expect, right? But in general, I would say I'm pretty good at figuring out what people are going to do. So I design around that, knowing that it's going to happen.
All right. I mean that takes a really good understanding of your player base and your audience in order to really do that effectively. Um, I have noticed that you've done you and Pixel Vision have done a pretty good job of like building up your own community that has supported you a lot. Would you say that's part of it? Maybe is that like you are pretty familiar with your community, you have a solid one, and that's kind of why you can intuit these things a little bit.
Um, Honestly, I would say I'm sure like 100% my community probably helped feed into that, but more so than that, my past of just always being the showing off new things and new games and new experiments and stuff
Hmm.
that helped way more
All right.
because it was always different people. It was always I don't play games, let me try it. So I
True.
was always exposed to new people touching my products and my stuff. So I always saw what's the first thing they do, what's the last thing they do, what if they play for this long, what if they play for a short period. All that exposure just helped me, build up the skills to kind of pick that apart.
All right. That's fantastic. Man, like that and yeah, that is a like a particular skill set being able to tease that out of people because I think a lot of the times people don't really know what they want or what they like or at least why they like or don't like various things. What would you say has probably been the biggest surprise to you in terms of what players have gravitated towards in your game and what they have kind of shied away from?
Hmm. Hmm. See, let's see. Something that surprised me that they gravitated towards. Hmm. What would I say? Has anything surprised me?
I mean, okay, if no surprises, then like, what is the kind of thing that you called? Like, you put something into the game, and you're like, folks are gonna love this, and you're like, yeah, got them.
Okay. Okay, that's a bit easy. Well, the first one that comes to mind immediately is Muay Thai's knee.
Ah, all right.
Everyone loves that. Round start knee is a staple.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Outside of that, something that I put in the first. Okay, this is probably the first thing I put in that it was more so I couldn't wait for people to finally start using it. Is Boxer's backward spin dash, the one where he like glows and stuff and he leaves the trail.
Yeah.
The backward spin dash by itself, like in a vacuum, it feels very pointless. But in neutral, when you finally start doing it, it completely confuses the opponent, and it's so cool because you want to open up the opponent, especially if you have it works best against Muay Thai, by the way, because they can like grab you and stuff. But
Yeah.
you go to hit their shield, you know they're about to immediately try to punish you, so you spin dash back, and then because you do that, all of your attacks have an insane amount of forward like push on it, so you come back and get the follow up, and you just start the combo from like the mind games involved with Boxer is are like so cool at a high level that I couldn't wait to see it and it's finally happening and it's exciting.
Amazing.
Um the only high level that hasn't happened yet, but I expect it to not happen until launch is Taekwondo. Taekwondo, just looking at it compared to the other characters, it's probably the lowest tiered character. Um not just because it's hard for them to get their attacks out, but they're off the ground a lot, and that's a state you typically don't want to be in Dojo Master. And
Hmm.
because of that, a lot of new players, even though they say they look at it and say, "Oh, that character's super cool," they tend to gravitate off of it because it's really hard to win once people start getting good at the.
All right. So that's what you're really excited for is folks figuring that out.
Yeah. But outside of that, I don't think there's much that surprised. Yeah, like offhand, I got nothing.
That's that's really interesting because I mean I've spoken to a lot of devs who are almost invariably it's like they play their game, they test it out, they get it into players' hands, and then within 20 minutes a player will do something that they're just like, how the hell did you get into this situation, right? So,
I
um,
say part of that though is just because of how streamlined Dojo Masters is compared to a much bigger project. Like Dojo Masters, don't get me wrong, it's still a big project, but everything's much more focused, right?
mhm.
There's not like 50 plus mechanics like something else that I've worked on. Like this is very to the point that I can very quickly come to conclusions and pick apart. Well, that's going to happen. Well, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. Do I want that? Do I not want that? Fix that. Don't fix that, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. So I guess on that topic, I mean, how do you balance that kind of scope for, I mean, not only your own sanity as a developer to be able to get through and finish a product, but for also like the value and for like player expectations. Like, how do you balance that? Because sometimes people expect a lot out of their games these days. So yeah, that balance must be difficult in some ways.
Mm, okay, repeat the question one more time.
Yeah, how do you balance the like scope of the game versus the value that players get out of it and what they expect to see out of fighting games?
Okay. Okay. Let me break this part. So balancing the scope of the game. So typically my way of designing the scope of a project is to first start off with the most ridiculous thing that I want to do. Figure out what aspects of that are the most enjoyable to me. What aspects of that would be the most enticing to people that would want the game, and then start cutting out things until it gets to a much more focused project, right? Um, so I guess this is the reverse of working from the ground up in that sense. But then afterwards, I'm sure there's some other step I do in here. I'm just blinking out on it. It was funny because I just had this conversation recently with someone. What else do I do when it comes to scope? Hmm. So while I can't remember that at the moment, it might come back to me. Let's move on to the second, right?
Yeah.
So as far as expectations of what should be in the game and whatnot, honestly, I don't know if this is a hot take or whatnot, but I think that most people's expectations of what a fighting game should provide are too low. Um, I think that too many fighting games, and this isn't a knock because obviously fighting games are ridiculously hard to make, right?
Mhm.
But I'm always disappointed when I get a fighting game and it's just all right. Here's versus mode. Here's arcade mode. You may have online, you may not. Maybe training mode. Have fun. $60,
Yeah.
right? So obviously that expectation it gets lessened the lower in price, and like when it's an indie game, I understand, right? I get it, but I remember the moment I realized that fighting games started removing elements that I liked about it was a little after Soul Calibur 2. Like Soul
Hmm.
Calibur 2, I spent a lot of time. That's my favorite fighting game. All the additional modes, the what is it, weapon mastery or something, where you go
Yeah.
on that journey and you go through all the different gimmicks and stuff through missions. It's very very fun. I had so many fond memories of it. And over the years, and again, it's probably a consequence of games being more expensive to make. They just removed feature, removed feature,
Yeah.
removed feature, and single player experiences kind of need to be there for a fighting game. I think if a fighting game isn't like enjoyable in an offline sense when you're playing by yourself, it's kind of a problem.
Yeah.
And so one game that's kind of somewhat my benchmark, right? Is I forget what it's called. It's a Street Fighter game on the PSP. Just looking at the main menu and the options in it, the how many game modes is ridiculous.
Hmm.
And again, it was probably designed that way because they know it's on a PlayStation portable.
Yeah.
They're probably not going to play online. We need to give them things to do. And I really really enjoy that aspect. Like there's so many modes and features I have planned for Dojo Masters. I wish they could all be there on launch, but I'm but one person.
Yes.
Um, right. So there's at least going to be like four, not including some mini games. So there's like four additional modes I want to do post launch, and then one fifth one that I'm going to at least experiment with, but I'm not guaranteeing it's going to be.
Okay, so that I mean that's a lot, right? Obviously, this is an important aspect, giving people single player content to play with, something to latch onto outside of outside of competition. Like as much as fighting games are about the community and the competition, yeah, you're right. You need to be able to enjoy them as a standalone thing. So that's great, and you've already have some like alternate modes included in the game, and there's going to be more on the way. Um, so what are your thoughts on like what it's like as a developer to make something like make a fighting game with all this value in it in this market? Like you're right, it's very expensive to make games. It's harder and harder to do it, and I think I personally have seen that fighting games are a harder pitch to publishers these days. So I mean, like how do you manage to like actually fund this and like find that balance between reasonable price point and good game?
Hmm, let me think. Repeat the question one more time.
Yeah, man.
Sorry.
Like, no, it's all good. Like, how do you? what are your thoughts on the current state of the market for fighting games, and like how do you manage to make your games in a way that are engaging but still affordable, right?
Hmm. I'm not quite sure I have a good answer for that. It's another one of those things where I kind of just do. I'm not. I haven't put much thought into that.
I mean, very clearly you've managed to like make it sustainable for you to work on these games. I'm not sure if this is full time for you, but between like you have a Patreon for both for that supports both Project Fantasy and Dojo Masters, is my understanding.
Okay. So here's what I could say to that regard then. So I can't speak for all devs, but funding or no funding, right? Or time or no time, I would be making games regardless, right?
Yeah.
But the Patreon does help. I've only actually been working on Dojo Masters like full time for the past month, and it's because we're getting close to launch. But Dojo Masters itself, its scope was directly influenced by the support of the Patreon as well as the public reception.
Okay.
Had the reception and or Patreon support for Dojo Masters specifically not been as high, we would have had a very, very, very different game.
Okay.
It would have been just Shotokan Karate. It would have been the type of fighting game that I wouldn't buy, right? But at that point, the game probably would have been free.
Okay.
Right. And then it got a better reception. So now we've upgraded. So now we're going to have a roster, but it still wasn't feature rich. And then it just kind of kept growing to the point where now it's going to be a full-fledged game, more, right? Mm-hmm. Additionally, at least as far as how I work, I get the most motivation and progress done out of two things. One, community support. Having someone, for lack of a better term, rely on me, or very much looking forward to something that I put out. And again, it's probably spawned from me always having to showcase stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Is the seeing them say, oh, that's super cool, or oh, I can't wait to see what's next. That is very motivating to me, right? The second one is spite. I love proving people wrong. There's been a few times where and some people that know me in my community know what I'm talking about, but there have been a few times where someone would be like, why would you do that? That's stupid, or don't do that. It's a waste of time. Like that's just a surface level, but that stuff gets under my skin. Yeah. I love proving people wrong so much. You have no idea.
Man, I knew spite was a motivator for players to get better at fighting games. I wouldn't have thought it was a motivator for developers.
I don't know how unique of a response that is, but that's definitely how I work.
Man, I'm genuinely curious. What was one of the things that made you be like, I'm doing this out of spite?
Man, do I even want to bring that up? Nah, I should honestly move past that.
All right. I had to ask.
The people that know.
All right. I'm sure there's some folks out there who are like, yep, I get it. Oh man. All right. So like, what is like, what is the development, like, what has the process been like? What has it been like for you on your journey to getting Dojo Masters to this point then? Like, between building community, which is obviously kind of, that was your approach. Like, what is our scope going to be? Well, what can we afford? This is what people are willing to invest in, right? So like, yeah, well, what are you most excited about right now going forward?
What I'm most excited about? I would say maybe three things. And it's kind of my statement's kind of more so where my current mindset is. So like, if you asked me like a little while ago, it would have been different, but it's because it's immediate. My brain's on it. Is one, looking forward to finally tackling a ranked mode for the first time, trying to figure out how to actually to do it and set it up. That is, I'm pushing super hard to try to get that for launch. There are some things I got to get done first. For a bit of transparency here. Even though I have experience with some networking stuff, a lot of the things you see in Dojo Masters is done for the first time. When I build projects, I like to use smaller projects to test out features that I'm going to do in later things, right? So getting the lobby system, first time doing it, right? Matchmaking, first time doing it, et cetera, right? So finally figuring that out and getting it working is something I'm very much looking forward to. Second is probably the Steam Workshop, seeing what people are going to do. I can't
Nice.
wait to see people be like, oh man, this martial art's not in the game. Let me make it. That's going to be very fun. It's going to give the game a lot of longevity. Knock on wood. Right?
Yeah.
Um, small tier Mugen online, right? With rollback.
Damn,
Uh
yeah. If that is the pitch, you will get immediately you will get people on board.
Oh, trust me. When the workshop's working and we finally start getting some notable things on there, I'm going to market that aspect way more. It's just hard to market that without actual things in the workshop, you
For
know?
sure.
So, thirdly, I'm looking forward to what the high level of this game is going to be. Like I already
Hmm.
see it in my head. I already know how it's going to play out, but I want to see it. You know,
Yeah.
that's going to be super sick. Like if ranked mode goes how I'm expecting it to, it's going to be horrifyingly sweaty at the high level. Horrifying.
Man,
So
I
yeah,
am I
I
am
would
so
say those.
stoked for that because like for sure when I started playing this game, I immediately saw like the potential, right? Like you start piecing together the different mechanics and you're like, "Oh my god, you would theoretically be able to do that." And then I played you and you were like putting some of that stuff into practice and I was like, "Oh my lord, this is just the beginning," right? Like this game's not even out yet. Yeah, I'm excited to see how high the ceiling goes because like you said, the game is very low skill floor but very high skill ceiling. And yeah, I think if people latch onto it, man, you're going to see some fantastic matches.
I agree.
All right, so I wanted to talk a little bit about. Well, so we did talk a little bit about like how do you fund this game? How does it go forward? And the state of the industry. I wanted to talk a little bit about the recent announcement that Dojo Masters is going to be getting a version on the Exa Arcadia platform.
Hmm.
So I'm genuinely curious. This is an interesting topic for me. I think the resurgence of or the potential resurgence of like arcades as a platform is really interesting. It's been tried before over the last 10 years or so to varying degrees of success, but it can be something that's hard to get into. This is largely an East Asian, right, Oceania kind of
Yeah.
thing. How did you get involved in this partnership with Exa Arcadia? Like, how did it come about? Were you approached
Happenstance.
or?
No, I was not approached actually. A developer buddy of mine actually introduced me. uh I can't say too much on what his affiliation was, but essentially he couldn't do what he wanted to do, so he said, hey, let me introduce you to someone and see what you think about it. And that's how I was introduced to the X Arcadia, folk.
Okay. And
Yeah.
like so what is the appeal of an arcade platform to you as a developer in this day and age? I mean like it's I got to admit like it's a limited platform. Only so many people have access to arcades, let alone the X Arcadia. So like what is the incentive here?
So I don't know how unexpected this response is, but for me, I just wanted my game in an arcade.
Okay.
Right? That's it. I just was like, ah, why not? That sounds really cool. I'm gonna do it. And then we ended up where we are. It's almost like what is it? Like the whole partnership between me and X Arcadia, at least from my perspective, is purely a personal endeavor.
Fascinating. All right, I thought that might be part of the component. There is this kind of prestige associated with being in arcades within fighting games. I definitely have a kind of like personal connection to the arcades as well, so I have some of that nostalgia basically and love for it. So I totally get that. But that's yeah, that's really it. You're just like, damn, this thing can be in an arcade, so let's do that.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
honestly.
all right. That's I mean that's great. I just what is I guess what kind of support are X Arcadia offering you guys to make this game and who is responsible for actually porting it?
So that's a three-part question. But first, the porting process is actually done by me.
Okay.
As far as support goes from them, they build like up the SDK and things so that way I can actually get it to function with their arcade cabinets, coin slots and all of that.
Hmm.
They also as far as like uh So they don't actually, at least again, I can't speak for how they handle other projects, right?
Yeah.
Because again, this purely personal endeavor, but they don't help with the actual development of Dojo Master, right? They only help with Dojo Masters EX,
Yes.
right? So and with that said, with at least with the EX version, they do Q&A for that, like input testing and all of that stuff, as well as like marketing of the EX version and whatnot, like bringing it to trade shows and events.
Okay.
Outside of that though, they are hands off.
Oh, interesting. Okay, okay. So they really, for them, it's about getting the games on the platform and having a roster of games that they can promote and sell, as opposed to like, I mean, because I think whenever these publishing deals happens, a lot of people are concerned that they suddenly their favorite developer becomes beholden to an outside interest, right? But it is very much they don't
Well,
want to mess with your game. They want to help you get your game out on a new platform.
well, I can't. I unfortunately can't speak to how they do the other ones. This is just solely how I've set this
Oh,
deal up
absolutely.
for me.
Okay, okay. And so this, yeah, okay, okay. So yeah, they're okay. So this isn't a like a standard boilerplate deal. This is they seem like this. I guess you've done at least a bespoke deal with them to get this game out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you're completely in charge of the porting responsibilities. They provide you with the SDK and Q&A and marketing, obviously, for that version of the game.
Yes.
Um, and so I'm already seeing it come up in chat. People are asking about what kind of differences are there going to be between Steam and Exa. My big question is how does this like X Arcadia exclusivity impact the future development of Dojo Masters on PC?
So it kind of does and doesn't. One, the original scope and design of Dojo Masters remains unchanged. Right. The
Mhm.
game that I wanted to get out is still the game that I'm going to get out. Right? Including all the post-launch content, all of that other stuff, right?
Okay.
In the sense of how it did impact it is solely well because now I'm to some extent juggling two projects, right? Is that I guess you can say the planned finish of all the features for Dojo Masters maybe got pushed back 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
That's about it. But other than that, it's completely unchanged.
All right. So this while you are managing another project now, it's obviously not so high impact. So like the porting, I mean the SDK obviously is doing its job in terms of helping you get it up and running there. So it's what has that process been like? I'm curious.
Huh. It's actually been kind of fun. There's a lot of nuances that come with an arcade scene. Like I was already aware of them, but there were some that kind of flew over my head. I don't know if I can pick one off the top of my head right now because I was busy at the time that I had to go back and forth and fix some things. But just like how do I word it? The flow of gameplay it changes a little bit because you're in an arcade scene as opposed to being at home. So like certain things need to be tweaked to make it feel more comfortable in an arcade, right? So small things like that have to be done. Um as well as I think an easy example for you that probably makes a lot more sense. Like it's not in the home version yet, but it's going to be coming hopefully before the end of the month. Mission mode for Dojo Masters that makes no sense to have in an arcade. So
Hmm.
like that would be removed. So that's the example of like how things don't really transfer over like back and forth. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been interesting having to tackle the challenge of making the game for lack of a better term, accessible in an arcade, setup.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess that is interesting because it does the context of the game changes based on where you're playing it. So yeah, like just menus would be different because you have different needs as an arcade as a player in an
Exactly.
arcade, right?
Yep.
All
Arcades need
right.
coins and credit handling. It needs to be able to know if someone got off. If you're playing arcade mode, does the score carry? Like there's a lot of small little questions that need.
Yeah. And so that would lead to there will be a difference ultimately between the two versions in terms of like feature set because I know that is a concern for a lot of folks. Can you speak at all to that and how you'd balance that?
Mm, I'm not. I don't think I can really say much about it. so for the sake of NDA, I'm going to
Respect.
repeat
Yep.
that my original design for Dojo Masters is unchanged. That's what I'll
Yeah.
say.
Okay. Okay, that's great. Well, I mean, then following off on that, I mean, just what has your experience been with X Arcadia in general? Like, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think that like this is worthwhile for other developers to explore an arcade deal in this day and age?
So I don't know. So okay, so that's again a two-part question. So the
Yeah.
first one is my experience with them so far. I've had no issue. It's been enjoyable. Like I said, it's for me. It's been fun. I've been enjoying it a lot. Um, as for is it a good idea for other developers or for that matter, other indie developers? I do not know. Every indie developer has different circumstances, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone is able to work the same way I do. So it's hard for me to give that sort of recommendation. But so I guess honestly, yeah, no, it comes down to the individual and what the contract looks like for them, what they want personally. It's a
Hmm.
very hard question to answer because again, I don't know how other deals work with X Arcadia. I only know about my
Fair.
own.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't speak on that exactly. So okay, that's fair. I mean, I think it's a I think it's an interesting thing. Like I said, the idea of your game being an arcade does have some level of prestige. So I could understand that as like just yeah, like as a personal desire. And frankly, there is something to be said about X Arcadia as a publisher being interested in independent fighting games. I don't know if you've what is your experience? Have you spoken to many other folks in publishing about fighting games, about any of your projects?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Mm.
This is something I have heard from many developers is that yeah, there are some struggles in getting publishers to buy in to the idea of a fighting game in the current climate. So like I said, it's amazing seeing X Arcadia being there, being willing to support folks, and very clearly you've had a good experience working with them.
In all honesty, I'm personally again, since this is a personal endeavor, I don't like having a publisher personally.
Yeah.
If I had my way, I for all projects, I would self publish.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
fair.
yeah, yeah. That's it. I understand the value in having a publisher, especially if they're like funding your project and whatnot. But I don't know. They would have to if a developer, sorry, if a publisher wanted to fund one of my projects, I would study that contract really hard because
Yeah.
there's always caveats that come with, you know?
Yeah, someone in chat
And
just saying with any publishing deal, you have to give up something. It is a give and
yeah,
take, right?
and so I'm very touchy when it comes to any sort of publishing deal, especially if they want to fund the project.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's come up in chat here as well. Like, does X Arcadia, pay you or fund the development in any way? Like, can you speak to the types of support you're getting from them outside of the QA and the marketing?
Uh, I don't believe I really can. The only I can really say is that they're not funding the development of Dojo Master.
Yes, yeah, yeah. It is okay, okay. That's fair. Yes, but they are strictly in the business of supporting the EX version.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Magneto saying yeah. So the publisher is X Arcadia proper, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
At least for
Yes.
Dojo Masters EX. This is a distinction.
For Dojo Masters EX, and then you are self-publishing on Steam, right?
Yes.
And do you have any plans of bringing the game to other platforms? A lot of folks are really excited about the prospect of this being on mobile or being on Switch.
Okay. So I don't know which will come first. It's very possible that Dojo Masters releases on Steam. Everything goes super well, and it turns out that my game is insanely easy to port to console, and then that ends up happening first. Though I don't. I guess you're probably not aware of it. Dojo Masters is designed like 90% with mobile in mind.
Yes.
The
Amazing.
layout of the menus and the way the gameplay flows is all in service of considering the mobile player, right? So at some point in the future, and I have a feeling I know who asked this question. At some point in the future, it will come to mobile. I do not know when yet. There's a lot of things that need to be figured out. The biggest one being servers. The mobile user base is massive, and the servers will fry if
Yeah.
I just open that floodgate. So I need to go about it in a very smart way, rather it be like I'm just spitballing here, right? Because nothing's been set in stone.
Of
Oh,
course.
the mobile version just doesn't have online play, or the mobile version only has local play, like with other mobile devices nearby, or
Yeah.
mobile version is like the free version you can play offline. You have to get the paid version to go online. Maybe there's a version where basic matchmaking works, but if you want to play ranked, you have to buy the game. Like, I don't know, right? But it will happen at some point. Just the game needs to be finished. Like Dojo Masters, like the home version needs to be complete, right? Before I can begin porting it to mobile.
Yeah.
That means all post-launch content, all of it. It has
All
to
right.
be 100% complete before I tackle that. But
Yeah.
but the game is still designed with mobile in mind, so I'm always keeping that at the back of my, whatnot.
That's great. Was the like no jumping, was like your use of like button real estate with like relatively limited move sets and attack buttons, like was that part of your consideration, was making it for
Yep.
mobile?
Yep, 100%.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, that seems to be a very, very popular like design philosophy when making mobile games. You've seen it recently with games like Super Dragon Punch Force and Konsui Fighter, who have both PC and mobile versions and do similar things, right? Any other like favorite tricks to make things manageable on mobile that you have come across?
Tricks to make things manageable on mobile. That's kind of a broad question, but I would say one of honestly, a lot of it parallels and crosses over with the party scene, but right, like the fast gameplay, the easy to pick
Mhm.
up and play. You don't want a mobile user picking up a fighting game on mobile to be in a match for like 5 minutes. That wouldn't make any sense, right?
All right.
I don't know 100% how people play mobile games now, because I don't really play mobile games personally that much anymore.
Yeah.
But when I did, it was always for short bursts in between going from place to place. Oh, I'm waiting for someone to show up. Let me waste 2 minutes. And so Dojo Masters is very good for that, right? Additionally, the lack of buttons, or rather the fact that the game was essentially a 4-button fighter, not including the ability to face the camera. It allows mobile inputs to be easier to digest. I've seen quite a few, like I don't know how they look now, but I've seen quite a few fighting games on mobile where they overload you with inputs on screen. I'm pretty sure I've
Yes.
seen one with like 12 buttons before. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Hmm.
Why would you do that? You have to adapt to the medium. You can't just directly one for one port it. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So I'm curious for you as a developer, like has this been, because I've noticed this shift over recent years where mobile games have largely become more more comfortable to play and more accurate to play. Is this a reflection of the hardware or like the actual like OS level touch recognition, or is this more, do you think, like developers' design paradigms making it better and easier to play?
Repeat the question one more time.
Yeah, for sure. Is this trend towards better mobile fighting games because of the hardware, or is this really more of a like design thing from the developers that have made them better to play?
Mm, I mean, the hardware has certainly gotten better,
Right? Okay, because yeah,
but
just I don't really have any visibility to how like the hardware and the touch recognition works on phones themselves, if that has been a point of the improvement, or if this is just like developers are figuring out how to make good mobile fighting games, right?
well, honestly, it's probably a mixture of both. I've been messing with mobile since like what 2012 ish, maybe a little earlier than that. And while yes, everything is more responsive, it getting better has not changed how I design for mobile. I'm always designing keeping in mind the old phones that I used to use,
Okay.
right? And I guess that's kind of me putting a limitation on myself, but I don't know how. other devs handle the hardware advances, right? As far as the design goes, I would say people are generally just probably getting better at it. Like because obviously when you're designing something, you're going to look at your neighbors. The whole competition
Hmm.
forces you to improve and whatnot. So if you see someone else that decides to do something different, you're going to say, "Oh, well, that's pretty cool. We should probably try that." Right? And then that's it just keeps rolling that way.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I'm not sure how often I looked at other games, for example. I just remember seeing the 12 button fighter and thinking it's stupid,
That's
right?
too much.
So, uh, and outside of my own experiences with mobile, I just kind of landed where I am.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
because this is something else that a few people know about, but Dojo Masters is just one game in the entire Masters series. There is actually another Masters game that I have already tested on mobile with rollback. Um, and the controls work really well. The 4 button layout is great,
nice.
but you won't be seeing that for at least another year, probably.
Okay. So there's some time there. Well, can you give us a bit of an update about what we're expecting out of Dojo Masters over the next little bit? When are we looking at launch, and how long are you anticipating until kind of it becomes feature complete?
So, there are about 5 major features. Oh, I guess 4. I just finished one of them. 4 major features left in Dojo Masters before launch. The hardest one, it's probably going to be ranked mode and getting the global matchmaking, right?
Yeah.
But thankfully, one of the guys I'm working with, that I was commissioned, he's helped me with some peer-to-peer type stuff, and I should have that by the end of the month, which is around the time that I should be working on the network infrastructure. So,
Okay.
with that said, um, I don't want to give a solid date. What I will say is that I'm pushing super hard because again, I'm working on it like full time right now. I'm pushing super hard to get this thing out by the end of June, right? And the way I work and design is pretty straightforward. So there should be, knock on wood again, very limited issues and hiccups. Um, Though, if it for whatever reason it does get pushed back, it would have to be like early July. And I say that because I guess a bit of an early announcement here. Dojo Masters will be making an appearance at Evo. Right?
Hey.
So it's kind of a bit of me wanting to get the game out before that, so when it's on the show floor, people who see and they want to play it, they can go pick it up immediately. So from my perspective, no matter what, the game will be out before Evo. I will figure it out.
All
That's
right.
what I'll say.
Well, heard it here. All right. So that means we're gonna get to actually sit down and play a match in person at Evo then.
Yes.
Nice. Nice.
And
I'm
as
excited.
for the question of when will it be feature rich, well, let me think. The modes that are remaining, and then the output of characters. So uh, I would say the game would probably be complete in its entirety, probably a little before June of next year.
Okay. Okay. So like basically a year to work your way through implementing the rest of the modes you have planned.
Oh, not just modes, characters.
But characters as
When
well.
Yeah, the characters. This might surprise you, but with one exception, characters only take me 2 weeks to make.
Wow.
Right, I work pretty fast. Um, but there's a caveat to that. That's if it's just the character being playable. Every character has menu assets they need. They have trials, right? They have
Yeah.
missions. So all of that stuff effectively bumps every character to taking about a month of development time to make,
Okay.
especially because it has to be localized. That localization eats up a lot of time as well. So that's the only reason why it would stretch on as long as it is.
All right. Nice. That's man. I cannot. I cannot imagine what it would be like to get this. Because are you responsible for all the art as well?
Yep.
Right? Like it's just creating something whole cloth and getting it up and running is impressive enough, let alone in 2 weeks, right? But yes, then you have all the other things. I've also said you have the game localized in quite a few languages, don't you?
Yes.
So what was the inspiration behind that? Is that just like you have a global audience already?
Well, I have a small global audience, not really a big one. It's more so that if Dojo Masters is going to be a martial arts focused game with martial arts from the world, I want it to be a global experience. Ideally, I would want anyone from any language to not have to struggle to play the game. They can pick it up, pick their language, or it'll automatically pick it, and they're just good to go.
Hmm.
Right? That's like a personal thing. I want it to be inclusive.
That is a very like admirable value to have with your game. So I definitely appreciate that, and I know because it can be very time consuming to get it properly localized for all these different regions. So kudos on that effort.
Also, someone I saw someone in the chat asked if I have a Blue Sky. I do, in fact. I believe it's just Bybyblue. I don't actually use Blue Sky. I made the account just to secure my name for the most part. If Twitter does go down, though, yeah, I did. If not, everyone's probably jumping ship. So.
Yeah, right. It's gonna happen eventually. Oh man. All right. Well, actually, so that's great, man. I really appreciate you coming by and talking about your game, and talking about your experience making games. Is there, if you have any parting words, the floor is yours. But otherwise, where can people find you, and where can people find your game?
Parting words. Oh man, you'd think I'd give thought into that, huh? I don't know. I'm not much for outros, honestly. And almost every time I've done outros, it's always been abruptly short. It's kind of like my thing, right? But I would say thanks for anyone listening to the interview. This has been a very fun experience. Just talking about game dev in general. I could talk about game development, my gripes with the industry. It's so much. I could be very talkative when it's about something I'm passionate about.
Trust me, I want to get into a lot of that, but I figure I shouldn't keep you here for 6 hours. So
understandable. But yeah, no, this has been super fun. I like talking about it, and I honestly I can't wait to show you all the martial arts that are coming. I wish I could cover all of them. I really do, but too many are too similar, and I am but one person, and I like to put a bow on project. So that is what it is. And yeah, as far as where you can find me, I am Bybyblue2 on Twitter. That's the number 2. I believe it's Bybyblue on Instagram, but I don't use it. Just ignore that. Pixel Division on Twitter, Pixel Division on YouTube, Pixel Division on Instagram, Pixel Division on Facebook. As mentioned really early on, I also have a Patreon in case you ever wanted to support. I'm pretty sure it's Bybyblue on there. And yeah, wishlist the game once. And I look forward to meeting some of you, hopefully at Evo.
100%. I'm excited to be able to meet you in person.
That would be quite interesting, and I will let you know I'm quite the jokester. So if I talk a lot of trash and when I beat you in the game, I'm sorry.
oh no, I expect nothing less. Oh, it's amazing. Like I said, thank you so much for coming by and talking about this. I hope to be able to sit down with you again soon and talk maybe more about the industry and the process of game development, just writ large. I'd love to get some thoughts on that too, but. Yeah, thank you for coming by.
No problem.
All right, man. Yo, I'm gonna be taking a little bit of a break, but I will be hopping on to some Dojo Masters, so maybe we can get some folks in queue and we can get some matches in.
Yep. I already sent off a message to a few of my people. We'll see if any of them show up.
Awesome. Well, all right. Thank you again. I will talk to you in a little bit.
Peace out.
Man, lovely. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to Bybyblue. There you have it. That's a little bit of the story of Dojo Master, how we got here and where we're going in the future. We're gonna have the game will be out by the time Evo drops. So folks, it's not too long. It's just a couple months and you'll be able to get your hands on it. And I am excited to see what everyone does with some of these martial artists because like I said, the skill ceiling in this game is so potentially high that I know some lab monsters are going to figure out some wild stuff and there's going to be some very hype matches. So I'm stoked. Y'all should be stoked. Go wishlist the game. 100%. Support your indies, friends. Yes. someone called desk. 100% Guardian. Get that man on it. All right. Right now, I'm going to take a little bit of a break before coming back, and we're going to check out... We're going to check out Dojo Masters. We're going to see... I have access to the game right now. We're going to see... yeah, we're going to see what's currently available, and we're going to play some matches. So stay tuned, friends. We'll be right back here on Niche Fighter Monday. Hello, everybody, and welcome on back to Niche Fighter Monday. Hope y'all are doing well. Yes, I know, right? Hayama, that's right. There's so much more that we really can get into about Dojo Masters, not the least of which is the music, which it's got a banger soundtrack, man. But yes, thanks again to Bybyblue for swinging by. I'm going to be booting up Dojo Masters in just a second. Yo, it is, while I do that, you know what? It is your regular reminder, friends, to spend those Bezos bucks. You know what? I know that I have been guilty of sitting on my Twitch Prime sub and some bits in my account on occasion. So make sure that you spend those. Like, spend that Twitch Prime sub by the end of the month, man. Otherwise, Amazon just keeps that shit. They don't deserve it. Really awesome streamers on Twitch definitely deserve it. So whether you drop those Prime subs here or, you know, on your next favorite streamer, just make sure you do them. Spend those Bezos bucks, friends. And support an indie. We're out there in the cold, man. So we always appreciate your support. But either way, you know what? I just appreciate y'all being here, man. Make sure to hit up. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord, man. We got some really cool people in the Discord. We got some great conversations going on in there. So don't hesitate to hop into the digital basement. I appreciate y'all for making this place an awesome place to hang out. Oh, how convenient. I go to boot Dojo Masters and there's an update. Yeah, we've got some real goons in the basement, too. We try to keep them in line, though, all right?
Welcome to the digital basement.
Oh, this is going to be loud. Whoop. Let's drop it down there. Alrighty. Alright, let me get this set up, friends. So yeah, Dojo Masters, what do y'all think, man? Who are your preferred martial artists? Who are you excited to see play or be played? You want to get your hands on it soon for sure. Yeah, Chris. Yo, it is super cool. It is super interesting. I have... Hey, there we go. Let us... Arcade survival versus no missions yet. No missions. That's fine. Oh, wait. No, I wanted to go to... Trials. Krav Maga is a new one to me. I want to see... Yeah! You know, I gotta check this out. There we go. Just checking the audio. Here's hoping nothing breaks. Alright. Martial arts that focus on counters and grabs. Due to the complex nature of their mechanics, Krav Maga must heavily rely on hard reads in order to win. Yo, let's go. There's a lot to explain. Let's get started. Basic movement. Unlike other martial artists, Krav Maga is unable to walk. I had noticed. Perform a dash forward or backwards. Moving on to attacks. Alright, different game plan than most. All of their punch actions counter incoming punch attacks. And likewise, all kick actions counter incoming kicks. Alright. Save the counter discussion for later. Look, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Any momentum prior to executing the action is Ooh. Interesting. Alright, let's perform the basic attacks. Alright, dash into attack. Alright. So just, right, if you're just standing still, doesn't do anything. If you dash into an attack, it'll come out. Alright. Krav Maga's hip throw. Back punch. Alright. Back kick. Alright. Being grabs. There you go. Yo, thank you. Thank you, Dr. MMR. Appreciate the follow. In general, since you typically require momentum to land hits, you have to take advantage of the gaps in the opponent's offense. That'll let you play Krav Maga at a beginner level. Against intermediate players, you will struggle to win matches. Dude, I really appreciate how, like, you do not talk down to your players within your trials and your tutorials. Like, I understand that, like, a lot of developers want to try different approaches to teaching people how to play fighting games, but, like, sometimes I'm like, did you know if you crouch to pop the balloon that you're in a crouching state is, like, so condescending, right? It's like, pop the bubble and see the confetti, right? I'm like, no, like, just talk to me like an adult, right? I'm not even mad at, like, the interactive tutorialization stuff. Some of that can be really cool and some of it can be really interesting. But, like, yeah, man, I'm like, look, I know what I'm doing here. Like, at least a little bit. All right. The attacks and the grabs both double as counters. Completely invulnerable to same attack types. Yeah, you won't flinch from incoming attacks. You can sometimes take damage, much like the armored state. Okay. Yeah, it's obvious to use each counter when expecting attack. The hit counter and grab counters have different timings and uses. Hit counters are more reactionary. An unsuccessful counter will stun the opponent for a free follow-up. Grab counters are preemptive. All right. The Churro's writing really has that character to be engaging, which is what you want from something that is teaching you. Right? No, absolutely, man. Like, and just the voice, like, there is very clearly a voice in here. It is not generic tutorial, man. That is, right? It is not the game system that is telling me its features. It is, like, very clearly this is someone speaking to you.
You're awesome.
Which I also appreciate. All right, successful counters on grabs will perform an unbreakable grab. All right, cool. Cool. Oh, no, it's not actually countering. There's the counter. Oh, that is totally. It is absolutely Peralta from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That is correct. Come on. Nope. Not sure why that was so difficult for me. All right. Important to know when and where to execute these counters, especially considering that momentum is almost mandatory. Yeah, don't get caught within a counter. You will need experience and matchup knowledge to succeed. All right. Ooh, dash cancels. Let's go. And you'll tell it's just as difficult in an actual match? Okay, that's fair. then I'm not too mad. All right. Dash cancel after most actions. A direction at the tail end of an action. Perform forward dash cancel. Ah. Okay, so it really is. That is the very, very tail end. Okay. I guess I'm so used to dash cancels happening on hit that it's funny. You got to kind of like delay a little bit. All right. You'd offensively dash forward, but this goes without saying. Guys, once again, not talking down to somebody. Defensively dash forward for the pressure, dash backwards when playing more defensively. Usually when low on stamina or when mixing up your opponent. All right, that's all the important details of the dash cancel. Charge attacks. You can build up a resource when engaging with your opponent. It's called charge. You can gain charge via various interactions. Landing a hit counter +1. Cool. Successfully throwing +2. Cool. Breaking free +1. Nice. Teching works. All right. 3 charges max, and the only way to lose your charge is by using it or getting knocked down. Charges do carry over through resets, meaning if you knock down the opponent, you won't lose any charge. Punch and kick together to execute a charge attack. Charge attack performed dictated by the value. All right. Okay, cool. So it's 2 hits. First hit is fast, second hit can be blocked, so not a true combo. So they can hit you out of it. But you can cancel it after the first strike. Oh, not only into a dash, but any... Whoops, so that was 3. So 2... is the kick. Okay. So 1 charge acts as your punch, basically. 2 charge acts as your kick. 3 charges a grab. Startup is rather slow. Very useful for getting knockdowns, though. Ooh, nice. Okay, so pushback can leave you safe on it. It's a grab. It can... Okay, so it's a blockable grab. All right. the opponent's stamina is low enough, you can force a guard crush, rendering the attack unblockable. Damn. Damn. That's a lot of moving parts. All right. Symbol that appears during each hit of the takedown. You are in control of the input required to break the grab. Oh, hot damn. That is good. The takedown deal more damage the further you get, but it almost always guarantees a knockout. Assuming you make it to the end of the sequence. Yeah, don't overly rely on total takedown. Very high chance they will break free. Unless you can mess with their heads enough. Yo, this is such a cool character, man. Oh, shit. Charge 3, 2, 1. Okay. The chain mostly applies when the opponent blocks one of them. Very good for applying pressure and stopping aggressive opponents. Damn! Okay, the lesser charge. Second method. I think I just came across this. Yeah. Charge attack while holding backwards. This technique allows you to perform at charge, only perform at charge 2 or higher. Yeah. Right, so if you have 2 and you do back charge attack, you get the punch. But if you're at 3, you get the kick. Attempting at charge 1, get no action. Yo, super dope. Consider for more guaranteed knockdown situations. Yeah, as mentioned in previous sections, total takedown is an unreliable knockdown technique, so take advantage of the sidekick. God damn. Alright, if you perform Krav Maga's grab counter at the right time, you will achieve perfect counter. You'll counter the attack, but your grab becomes unbreakable. Damn. Alright. While the grab is unbreakable, opponents can still tech the fall. Ooh, really? And there's a different timing to it? Much smaller if you lack a charge. Shit. The rimp is identical to a normal charge attack, but it must be executed during the screen flash. Don't gain a charge till after the screen flash, so you need to have a charge. Okay, so you can cancel your perfect counter into your charge attack only if you have it available. Yeah, give me that. Kick. Punch, kick. Oh. Damn. All right. Daybreak Slam? Is that the that's not the new original IP that's coming out on Exa, is it? I thought it was called something like that. Oh, shoot. Okay. Perfect counter into charge attack will be an actual true combo at this point. Yo. Like, the rewards for precision in this game are... Oh, my God. Oh, yo, it's from the Omen of Sorrow team? That's super interesting, Hiyama. I might have to chat with you a little bit about that. Yeah, perfect counters are extremely useful and mostly unpredictable. Take advantage of them when you can. Jeez. And we're not done. We got the combat roll. One final movement option. Combat roll. Useful for closing gaps or to avoid high attacks and grabs. Holding forward for half a second. Ah. Ah. That's not the main purpose of it. The combat roll doubles as an attack. It only hits grounded opponents who are blocking. And airborne with opponents who are currently in hits. Okay, so only blocking opponents and airborne opponents. So it's a combo tool, like an airborne combo tool and a grounded blocking pressure tool. This is the only case in which the combat roll is dash cancelable. Oh wait, hitting a blocked opponent will land them in a stun state? Huh. Going for a grab is not recommended. There's generally enough time for the opponent to recognize a grab. So instead, weak attack to build up charge and deal damage, or a sidekick if you have enough. Fascinating. Yo, okay. Incredibly punishable if the opponent expects it. Try to use it sparingly and use it wisely. Yeah, not a very combo-focused martial art, very clearly. Combo should not be your focus at a base level. With that said, you do have some, so let's check them out. Simple strikes after landing a weak counter. Is it... Oh, right. Right. It's okay. There you go. While basic, you're building 2 charges from this interaction. This could easily lead to a total takedown or a sidekick. Very versatile combo. On to the next one. Utilizing the combat roll, specifically against an airborne opponent. Alright, I want to see how this works. Hold forward preemptively. Releasing it early in the roll will result in the roll not occurring. Oh, fun. Alright. Yo, for real. For real, M4. Like, Heatwave probably needs the horizontal one. The screen real estate is really small. Alright. Forward. Oh, God. Hang on. Let me restart this one. Come on. Okay, yeah, it's got a dash cancel out. All right. Let me read this one a little bit more closely. Combat roll combo, specifically against an airborne opponent. Must hold forward preemptively. Releasing it early results in the roll not occurring. Hold forward. Level 2 charge. And then it's the follow-up that I'm like, I think that's the problem. Yeah. I'm getting it. I was just like, wait a second. Let me reread this. All right. Okay. Closer? Yeah. Am I supposed to be able to get 2 combat rolls out of this? Yeah, no combat roll there. 1 roll with a follow-up weak kick post-juggle. Okay. Got it. I just did... So it's funny, it was like, I guess I don't know if it was my possibly dyslexia missing something in in the description. But yeah, I guess I didn't realize that I had to do the kick there at the end. Yeah, you have to commit to holding the forward, so going for it can be risky since you won't be able to defend yourself if you don't get the hit. Yeah, right. I think so. Even just having the last dot in that combo trial description being the K would have been like, oh, okay, I need to hit the kick. But like the way I read it, I was like, I have to do 2 combat rolls, and I just wasn't sure how to do that. So that might be a little helpful. Yeah, alternatively having something right beforehand describe it. Oh, that's super sick. All right. Yeah, what else did you say? Bot versus, and there's a glossary? Okay, this is amazing. CPU versus... Ooh, what mini games do we get, though? I do want some mini games. Let's do it, friends. Bring me your Dojo Masters challenges. This is good. Yo, I'm not even sure who I'm going to end up playing. It's really awesome, man. I love the idea of there being, like, the Steam Workshop support for this game, where, hey, if you don't have the martial art that you want in the game, you can put it in the game yourself, guys. Which, frankly, is super cool. Like, oh, play while you... Oh, there we go. Aw. Oh yeah, you're gonna do some custom stages? That's nice. Yo, the stages are really beautiful, actually. That's another thing we didn't really get to talk about. Like, the pixel art itself in Dojo Masters is quite wonderful. And I am, like, very excited that I saw that a couple more stages are getting their fully, like, interactive and, like, animated components getting included, so... That's gonna be great. Think I might need to make a lobby instead? could do that as well. There you go. Lobby code is all punches. Matchmaking might be borked. It's all good. We have a name. Room A waiting. Am I missing something for connecting here? Game for custom skins, chat. Oh. There we go. There we go. I haven't actually done much of the navigating of the menus myself, so... Alrighty. Let me go to my trusty Muay Thai. If you want to join, you'll have high ping from Argentina. Hey, I got no problem. I'll play with folks from wherever. I was playing with folks from overseas last time I was running this game, so... Yeah, as long as you don't mess with the input delay settings, you should be fine. Cool. Ah! Oh, nice. Yay, spectating works. Nice, though. Okay, those were your emotes. All right. Oh, nice. Ooh. Oh. Untechable. I should have known. Hey, sweet. Sweet. That is exactly what I was hoping for, Bybyblue, is just 5 matches, they're pretty quick, and then we'll cycle in some other players if they're around. I think that's great. Yeah, get that pummel going. Probably remove the room password. I guess that's fair. I wasn't sure if it was required or not, actually, but I guess just open private room, yeah. Ah! Oh. Dang. Oh, no. All right. That's fine. We're good. We're good. We're good. No! We're not good. Delightful. Cool, here, let me... Oh, okay. That's right. I had spectate on, so it dragged me into the match. If I... No, it's all good, man. I don't think I can leave. Yeah, I've been here for a sec, I think. Okay, I mean, yeah. Well, like, let me know whenever you're in the match. There you go, loading. There you go. Okay, back, settings, password. Whoop. Free for all. Basic. Done. Room A. Queue up. There you go. There you go. Oh, the password button will clear it? Beauty. Even better. Here we go. We can get some delightful boxer play. Yes. Really cool. You'll see that Boxer actually has a shuffle, and if he does the shuffle stance when he has less than 1 bar of stamina, he'll regain a little bit of stamina. Just like that. So sometimes you can just save yourself from a match point scenario. All right, here. A name coming back a little. There you go. Big dash cancel combo. Ooh, went for the uppercut, but was out of range. Eh. My lord, the dashing around here, just like the You can schmoove, man. You can schmoove with Boxer. It's delightful. Oh my lord. Nah, that's like, I can't. No GGs. BGs. Oh my god. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh man, let's check out. Oh, hang on. We got the bridge stage. Let's go. I'm just jumping into the deep end, man. We're gonna go for some Krav Maga. You press select share whenever your button is. You can change stage variant. Ooh, fun. So like day-night variants and stuff? Nice. All right. Ah! That's good. That's good, like, just pestering, right? Oh! Oh my. Dang. I thought I was getting the hang of it there. All right, let's see. Let's see if I can even get around here with Krav Maga. I got to get my dashes off of any of my counters. Hey, we got one. Nice, nice. Ooh. Oh my lord. Okay, I wasn't actually expecting to get the tech on that. That was super dope. Ah. Oh, no. Oh. Oh, dang. Yo, the roll, super nice. It feels fun, man. Nice. No. Oh man, that's super fun though. And yo, it is so delightful just being able to like just like roll through some matches, man. Like honestly, I don't mind getting steamrolled every now and again if it means I can just like I'm back in it 20 seconds later. Yo, Hayama, thanks as always for dropping by. Take it easy, friend. There we go. We got variants, man. Ooh, okay, okay. Nighttime. We're doing nighttime streetscape. Dang. I gotta like remember my moves here, man. Yeah, bonk. All right. Counter. Nice. The sweet spot. Counter and then dash counter. Ah! Nice. Nice trip. It did better than Craw than I was expecting. Honestly, me too, man. There's a lot to that character that it's like, and it's like honestly probably not my biggest strength as a character is the parrying, probably not my thing. Like same thing with this here, where I find myself I'm exposing myself as not the reaction monster. There you go. That's a little better though. That's a little better. All right, all right, all right. I gotta get back into this. Oh, I gotta turn around. Is what I gotta do. Dang it. Again, I needed to commit to the walk forward. Dang. This is gonna go not fantastic. Nice. Hop around to some characters. No. Taekwondo, I think, might be out of my range. My crop was unironically not bad. Thank you. I appreciate that. God, some of these stages are absolutely beautiful, dude. Oh, damn. Bridge 1 V2? Alright, I got you next time. Also, yes, yeah, I think I caught that, right? Need an original name? What's good? Appreciate you coming through for some matches. Oh, wait, was that actually the right stage? Down to put me through the paces. I appreciate it. Dude, this is a freaking gorgeous stage. I love the, like, rim light, like the single pixel rim light on the characters' backs. It's great. Oh. Ah! The double KO. No! Nope. Again. Nope. Still alive. Now. All right. Let me think this through a little more. Okay. Dang it. Lost on a half a pip of stamina. Nope. Got hit with the overhead. No. Oh, fantastic. Alright, let me give her another go. Taekwondo bottom tier? Man, I do not believe it. Like, I mean, yeah, relatively speaking. That character seems just abso-freaking-lutely wild. Alright, let me get my roll on. My combat roll. Oh, there we go. should have held the combat roll. Letting myself get trapped in that corner. Karate can switch between punches and kicks relatively quickly. Yeah, absolutely, right? So, like, that's it, where I'm like, I gotta, sometimes I'm like, shit, I just gotta, it's just a guess, right? This is the kind of stuff where it's like, if you are, oh shit. Oh shit, you got that in between the 2 hits? Oh, that's dangerous. Alright, I gotta remember back charge, right? I can use, oh god, there's a lot to remember, just like managing your charge levels. Knowing what you have access to at one point in time when the game is so fast, it can be very difficult. No! GG's. You're in a call with Original right now? Yo, all those supercuts are full accidents. That's so funny. Okay, I was just like, damn, did you legitimately sneak one of those in between the the charge attack? I was like, hot damn. Oh, it's so good, man. Like, it feels, like I said, even when I'm losing in this game, I always feel like I'm learning something about the character, and there are so many little aspects for you to be able to work on. It is addictive. Here we go. Also recommend Subway 1. All right. Oh! Covers based on predicting your opponent's moves and countering, aka punches versus kicks. Yeah. Oh yeah, like this is the kind of character that I would be terrified of playing against my training partner. Ducky and I, like, she knows me so unbelievably well that I would be horrified playing against her Krav Maga. Oh shit. And like, I had no charges, man. Nice. Ooh. Damn, right down, not even. Hot damn. Yeah, same can be said for Aikido. Oh, no! Oh, I can't believe I got fucking countered there. Good shit. It was a close 5-0. It was a very, very close 5-0 name. I agree. That was fucking wild, though. That felt so good, man. Yeah, that last minute, I was just like, I cannot believe that actually happened. All right, where is Subway? Oh, man, so good. Hey, there's no, it's not a karate one trick. It's a karate specialist. Ooh, got hit crossing up. Okay. Yeah, man, the spectating working makes me super happy. I know how, like, it could be hard at times getting it to work correctly. So it's like, yeah, man, when it just works. Oh, shit. Your rollback netcode isn't conventional at all. Doesn't count up from 0 like a normal system? What else? Like, hey, I guess that's part of the thing about just, like, doing your thing. Is that sometimes you do it in unconventional ways. Hey, all right, we got one. Ooh! Kramaga, day one. Hey. We're learning lessons, that's for damn sure. It's funny, like, I think Taekwondo is a character that's a little bit out of my range. Though, Krav Maga is also fairly complex, right? It's funny, like, I thought Boxer was like, oh my god, there's so much shit going on with this character. And then I started playing Taekwondo, and now with Krav Maga, it's like, and they all like tackle slightly different aspects of your, like, reaction, of your execution, of your ability to read opponents. So, like, it's really amazing how well and I mean, it stands to reason, like, fighting games have used martial arts archetypes to distinguish their characters for forever. So, like, it makes total sense that that's how this would be, right? Oh, shit. So yeah, that they translate really well to the various archetypes is, like, should be no surprise to any of us. But it means that, like, yeah, everyone has this a little bit of something to find in every one of these archetypes. Nice! There we go. Super complicated, right? But then there are other, like, really simple characters in the games as well. So, like... Oh. There we go. So yeah, if you're like, nah, this is not, like, I don't want that aspect of the mental stack, there are other things, there are other characters that you could play, right? Oh. Can DQ some flourish, maybe pretends to resheath his sword? Oh, that'd be fun. Nice. Oh, no! Did I run out of charge? I might have run out of charge, actually. Shit, GG's. Oh. Someone else is joining. All are welcome, that's for sure. Oh. Am I in watch only? Oh, okay, okay. Cool, cool, cool. You know what? Forget it. I'm gonna stick with it, man. Gonna have to, like, survive the relentless attack from a name, though. Still relatively. What is the hardest thing to get good at? Man, honestly, depends on the character. So when I'm learning a new character, I think one of the toughest things for me is because they function so uniquely. Like there's not a lot of like crossover, like portable knowledge basically, because they are so unique. So I find it's oftentimes really hard to like wrap my head around all of their like specific mechanics. But for the more, I guess, the more approachable of the characters, I definitely think parrying, man. Parrying is such a, like, I feel long term it's going to be a really big part of the defensive aspect of the game, and that is something that's really difficult for me personally. I've always struggled with the parry systems in various games. Am I able to see where I have to improve to win? All right. Yeah, generally speaking, I am. Right, like in this right now, I'm realizing that I am not using my charges very well. And I do not have many, and this is why I think of parry as a defensive option, because I am struggling really, really hard with the, like, relentless rushdown, even with a character who has, like, these built-in, counters, right? I think generally, though, I'm able to, like, identify what my struggles are. So yeah, like, better use of my stuff, finding a more reliable way to knock down. It was really good. I know it was 5-0, but I had to try hard for it. Thank you. And like start mixing your stuff up. Yeah, right. Like, and this is it. Like I'm starting to get a hang of that a little bit more now, right? It'll all come with time. I mean, it's funny. Like I think for me as a player, I'm pretty slow in terms of my adaptation a lot of the time. So I gotta think it through. Learning them a lot faster. All right. Well, I mean it's a little reassuring, I got to admit. Nice. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like how do players see things? I am, despite there being a lot of like a lot to pay attention to in the game, I don't feel like I am lost when it comes to what I am seeing and what I should be learning. Boxer is all punches. Stands to reason, right? So really got to worry a little bit less about which one I'm using. Oh. Not to say I'm timing them all that well. Yeah, less about which, exactly. More about when at that point. Damn it. See, yes. And now the dash cancels. I think for me, like, that's probably the biggest thing right now is that I am not necessarily getting the best use out of them. Yeah. That's funny. You're like, as soon as I said it, you were like, yep, that too. Yeah, and like I said, I think for me, like, from playing so many really fast-paced fighting games, oh, wait, I can just stay in the queue, and it should. Right, from playing so many fast-paced fighting games where dash cancels happen usually at the moment of impact, not at the recovery from the attack, I have not been able to adjust my brain to that timing yet. So I am, like, way less consistent. So it's funny. So I think me as a player, I just said to myself internally, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to worry about the timing of my my counters and my parries, and making the most out of that aspect of the game and trying to get the knockdown, as opposed to worrying about getting pressure or staying safe in certain scenarios, right? I think it'll be interesting. I will have to go through and just hop into training mode just to figure out, right, like, what exactly, how safe am I left? How safe do certain attacks leave me, right? What is the timing for my dash cancels precisely, right? That's one of those things. I need to sit down with it for, 10 minutes and just be like, okay, what's the window? It's funny, I had to do that with Murfight, actually, where Murfight has the cancel window in Murfight is not what you would typically see at a lot of, especially modern fighting games, and it's part of what gives it the feel of Murfight and how the cancel and the system works there. But if you're not used to it, it could be it could be a little bit counterintuitive. So I had to do that. I had to, like, spend a bit of time being like, what does the game expect of me, right? And, like, being able to do that, like, that I'll be able to figure out the couple of things that I need, right? What are all my tools right now? Right? Because so many of the attacks and the abilities come out of other attacks and abilities, right? That, especially for Krav Maga, right? Where it's like, it's just a defensive button unless you dash forward, and then it becomes an offensive button, right? It is so dependent on other factors that, just taking a moment to go through it is going to make a big difference. Having variations of each martial art, as M4 Rocks, given the player the option to choose between 3 special moves, kind of like an MKX, would make mirror matches a lot more interesting. Bybyblue saying that they currently think all mirror matches are interesting. Variations isn't something that they're officially tackling. Leave that to the mods. And that's the beauty, right? Is that there is going to be Steam Workshop support, right? So for a game that, and I mean, Bybyblue talked about it, that, it's distilling a martial art down to the mechanics means that, like, how do you do that? You have to use a limited number of tools, the iconic things associated with that martial art. So if you personally appreciate something else about that martial art, even if it is not the first thing you might necessarily think, you have the ability to make that modification, right? Which is super interesting, if you ask me. Like, because, yeah, people appreciate different things about these martial arts. And maybe some of the more nuanced ones, like a tool set that involves some of the more nuanced aspects of, whatever, Krav Maga or Shotokan, would be great for something like a mod and a Steam Workshop edition. Great job there, though. Just, you see them whittling me down. They don't want to go through the multiple exchanges. They're happy to take all my stamina out. Ah, see? There you go. I missed the dash again. Oh, no, not the trade. Someone wanted Zoro from One Piece. Still waiting for Goku? Oh, it's bound to happen. We're gonna get the Goku versus Ronald McDonald. It's gonna be great. Get a little bit of stamina back. No! Got the perfect ender. Nice. There we go. Whew! Yo, that was a freaking... That was a round, man. Dang, dang! Match limit reached. Good job. If Saitama hops in, we're all doomed. And yeah, original likes to duck. Yeah, use the weak kick. It hits low. What mods do I want to see? Ooh. I'd be interested, like, okay, so in terms of style, like character type, archetype, I would love to see, like, what happens if you get some of the atypical, like what of bar brawler? I want to see a bar brawler, right? Like, my dude just, like, pulls out a bottle. There are, like, no projectiles in this game, right? I think that would be really interesting. Like, what happens, because so many of these are just like traditional martial arts, what happens if you get into some of the less traditional ones? So I think there's some interesting stuff there. In terms of, like, the kid with the slingshot, right? Yeah, give me Bart Simpson or, like, Dennis the Menace or something, right? Giga Chad will be made for sure. Yeah, there's some really cool stuff happening in the Rivals of Aether workshop. Steve from Wii Sports. That man's unstoppable. Yo! I was not ready for the rushdown. Holy shit. I'm just mashing it out, man. I was just mashing out the punch counter. Let's see what happens. Guy, I am just getting like, I'm getting the lean in, man. Nice. Oh, come on! Oh, shit, I thought I had that. Oh. Whoo boy. Oh, shit. GG's. Wow. Wow. Now that felt good, man. Like, you know when you, like, hit a moment where you're just like, okay, some of it's clicking, right? You can see, like, I started incorporating more of the dashes there. Like, ooh, sweating a bit. Okay, like, admittedly, part of that was because I didn't have to worry about punch and kick counters. Knowing that I'm worried about the timing, I'm worried about the spacing, I'm worried about that. Let me say, okay, I don't have to fret about switching that level of my guard. It removed one thing from the mental stack, which let me focus on the others. That's really exciting, man. Because, because you as a player, right, once you wrap your head around how that works, right, how those aspects of it work, bringing in the more complex, you have to, it's debate between the punch-kick aspects of it. Like, that becomes a little bit easier to handle once you have your base level understanding. Oh damn, we know signaling. Yo, it is officially, this is how we officially know we are into a game, friends. My camera dropped signal. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna swap it out. Yo, there we go. Yo, Ace saying they were thinking that having knockdown as the win condition could make people inadvertently hone in more on the concept of neutral. 100%, man. It's one of the really interesting things that when I think about this game, right? I had said it in the interview with Bybyblue that Dojo Masters shifts the focus within the context, within the context of fighting games when it comes to knockdowns, right? Where usually it's you don't want to be knocked down because someone's gonna get Oki pressure. Like, right? What happens? You get the hard knockdown, the round resets, right? But it also, that is your win condition for the match, where you have to get them to 0 stamina and get the hard knockdown, then you get the win. So, yeah, that kind of shift in focus will really shift a player's focus when it comes to what are they doing. Because now it's a matter of, oh, I need to make sure I'm staying standing, right? It refocuses your attention on your ability to tech roll, your ability to maintain standing position, your ability to maintain neutral, right? Like, because it's not, I'm gonna get knocked down. That's a process of, and I mean, it's a process here, right? But like saying, I'm gonna get knocked down, and my job is to react to the wake up, right? Okizeme is such a huge component of it. It's still a component here, especially with the soft knockdowns and the tech rolls. But yeah, it is just enough of a twist in the formula to make a player say, I'm going to start considering the other things connected to this system. Love me an alternative win condition. Are you kidding me, man? I want more alternative win conditions. That was one of the first, when I started up the Digital Basement, one of the first big YouTube videos I did was win conditions in fighting games, and talking about the different ways you can get to it and how surprisingly few fighting games actually tackle alternative win conditions. So seeing this immediately made me think actually of, what was it, Fighter's Destiny for, no, not Fighter's Destiny, Fighter's History? It was the Fighter's something game on the N64. Oh my god. Has this amazing point structure, right? Where if you get a knockdown, you get points. If you get a ring out, you get points. If you get, right, there are different, and your job is to get as many points as possible, and all the ways that you interact in a fight have points associated with them, right? So some of them, much like Dojo Masters, will reset to a new round, but not end the match unless you get your point total, right? Which is, it is, and it is immediately something that makes you, Fighter's Destiny, thank you, Crimson. So yeah, and it is immediately something that makes you as a player reconsider what you're doing. Combos are suddenly no longer anywhere near as important because you have all these other mechanisms with which to get to your end game, right? Timer scam is an alternative win condition, absolutely. If you can get some points through timeouts, what does that mean, right? Go to the full arena. Right, yeah, Breaker's giving you bonus damage if you don't hit your opponent. Bonus damage on, lost streaks, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. Of course I picked the... Oh, dang. Good knockout. Oh, good break. Come on. Get another counter. Yes! Oh, fucking sick, man. The movement is so good, man. It feels so good just to, like, futz around and move around the stage. Oh, good grab, good grab. Oh, shit! I tried to hold the roll. I was too late. Oh, good stuff! Oh, shoot. Shouldn't have tried for the kick at that range. Oh, damn. Got kicked. I went for the punch. Oh, no. Missed my roll. Shit, nice. GG's. All right, all right. I think I got one more in me here against Bybyblue, and then I'm gonna have to call it a day. But my lord, I am gonna have to look in a little deeper into our friend Krav Maga. All right, you got like 10 minutes. That's perfect. All right, where are we going to, man? We're gonna go. We'll go to the gym. Canadians be playing games. Yo, a name. Yo, those were some sick matches. Legitimately, like I like I said, I love it, man. I love it when you hit that moment where you start like internalizing some of the things. Like I get the broad strokes, I get the concepts, right? But putting it into practice like that, oh, that's what's so satisfying. Yeah, that Zen state, flow, the state of flow, man. Ooh, and you'll see me like I just get the lean in every now and again. Oh. Yeah, well, it feels so good. Absolutely. All right. Oh, right. Yeah, the kick parries are slower, right? So all parries are the same. Oh, okay, okay. It's just for a kick. I thought there was a slight difference in timing on them. Thank you for that. Mwah. Hi, love. You're off.
I go by now.
Okay, have a good time. Say hi to everyone for me.
Yeah, I love you.
I love you, baby. Just saying bye to Mrs. MKL. She's off to see the family. Yeah, man, that experience of, right, when you learn alongside someone and you're all at the same level, that is so huge, right? There is obviously good value in terms of like playing people who are genuinely higher skill level than you. But like, yeah, you can feel it get away from you sometimes, right? When you get that one friend who gets a little bit better than everyone else. You can start feeling the tension sometimes in the room, right? Oh, curses. Needed to roll. No. Ooh, the gloomy lighting, man. Just thwack. GG's, man. That was fantastic. Dudes, everyone, thank you as always for joining me here on Niche Fighter Monday, man. This was super fun. GG's to a name, GG's to Bybyblue, everyone who came through and played some matches. I really appreciate it. Yo, thank you again, Bybyblue, for sitting down and talking to me about your process of making games and Dojo Masters. Everybody, Dojo Masters is coming out before the end of July. I mean, that's what we got right now. It'll happen before the end of July. So make sure to go pick it up. Wishlist it, my friends. Go check out Pixeled Vision and Bybyblue over on Twitter. Drop them there for you in the chat. Yeah, man. This is going to be so good. I am so excited to see what comes of Dojo Masters. I can't wait for people to get their hands on it, and it's going to be a wild time. Yeah, get hype, for sure. All right, friends. That's it for today. Thank you for joining me on Niche Fighter Monday. We'll be back next Monday at 2 p.m. like we always are, talking about cool games. Maybe we'll be talking to some cool people. And then, let's see, on Thursday we're doing the Kingdom Hearts thing, and then on Friday we got Free Play Friday. We're gonna have some cool stuff going down. Next week, on the 24th, we're gonna be doing something special here. We're gonna be doing a whole ass episode of The Mix-Up. Check Discord promo chat real quick. Can do. Where are the masters? Oh my lord, Dream? That is freaking sick. Holy shit. Guys, check this out. Check this the heck out. Much love, man. This is dope. Some lovely little fan art here. Guys, that's too sweet. Thank you so much, Dream Mary XE. That's so good. Just did it in an hour. Did an hour in a few minutes. Thanks for coming by. Thank you for this amazing art, dude. This is going. I'm taking this. I'm taking this. This is dope. Man, thank you so much, everyone. I will see y'all, like I said, next Monday. We got Kingdom Hearts on Thursday and Free Play Friday. Next week, we're doing the mix-up. It's a game show. It's a quiz show. It's a challenge. It's a fighting game challenge. For you Canadians, it's going to be like Video and Arcade Top 10. For you Americans, it's going to be like Nick Arcade, right? There's every country has a gaming show from the 90s and 2000s that we can look back to and say, I wish I was on it. And I'm going to give y'all a chance to be on it here. American Gladiators, but for video games, man. It's going to be dope. Yo, I will be reaching out to some folks. We got a lot of takers for the mix up. That was super fun running the mix up at Niche Fighter Fete a year or so ago. So we're gonna be bringing it back for the stream, man. It's gonna be good times. But until then, make sure everyone take care of yourselves, take care of each other, be nice to yourselves and each other, and I will see you on the other side and in the bracket. Peace out, friends.